Hi guys, this is my results update for my etheric surgery from Mother God in the 5th dimension and the 5D full disclosure team, also known as psychic surgery from a cult leader who's been deceased for the last several months. First, I want to read to you the description of the service advertised on their website so that we can all understand a bit more about what I got myself into. Etheric Surgery with Mother God, a full healing by Mother God and the Galactic A-Team. Our most popular session. The surgery is performed, I think they mean performed, in the etheric realm on your higher self by Mother God and the Galactic A-Team in the 5th dimension. You don't have to do anything. Mother God and her team will do it all. This healing is all done on your higher self first in order to heal the energetic body where all disease, illness, and bodily dysfunction stem from. The energetic body must heal first before it manifests into the physical. Everything that is non-organic, density, or not supposed to be in the body will be removed and fully healed. This includes, but is not limited to, trauma and wounding stored in the body, vaccine toxins, diseases, chronic or acute illnesses, microchips, brain damage, neurological issues or disorders, and tumors. This can best be described as a full body detox. Your body will be fully clear so the higher self can start integrating into the physical body. It is not possible for the higher self to fully integrate into a physical vessel full of density. There is no other service offered on the planet that will provide a full healing like this one. Join the many people who have had their lives completely changed by this etheric surgery. Mother Earth would like all of her children to have a chance to experience true 5th dimensional healing while shifting out of the 3rd dimension into the 5th. New Earth healing awaits you and your loved ones. Add-on surgeries are only $22. True healing from the planet/source herself. The surgery is done in 2 processes. After your first initial booking, you will receive a pre-surgery phone call to go over what to expect during the surgery over the next 3 to 5 days. Pre-surgery call lasts typically 10 to 15 minutes. Any questions you have about the surgery process will be answered during this call. Then a team member will schedule a follow-up session where you will receive the second phone call 3 to 5 days later, where you will get the surgery follow-up results about what was removed during the etheric surgery. We allow 3 to 5 days for the surgery to integrate into the physical body and allow beings to integrate their new higher energy field. Happy healing. Okay, first off, $88.88 may sound like a lot for a 15-minute appointment, but if you think about what they're supposedly offering, which is a blanket healing for every disease that exists, it's a screamin' deal. So in an effort to understand a bit more about this group by interacting with them on their own turf, I booked an appointment. A couple of days later, I waited for the first or pre-surgery call at the appointed time, and it didn't come. It did occur to me that I might just never hear from them, but boy was I wrong. About an hour later, a call did come. And once I was on the call, the appointment was supposed to last about 15 minutes, but we ended up talking for about 35 minutes. So I definitely got my money's worth in that regard. There was way too much in that call to cover here, but topics we discussed included how the etheric surgery would release me to become completely me without fear, synchronicity, i.e. coincidences, but they're not coincidences because everything is there for my expansion and everything is a message from Mother God. And we even talked about Amy Carlson passing away, also known as Mother God ascending to the 5th dimension, as the group believes. My caller told me that Mother God remembered birthing every atom in the universe and that she'd done it 3 times. I was also told that I could go outside at night, look up at the sky, and find a bright star to zoom in on with my camera, and that I'd be looking at our galactic family, which has been watching over humanity since the beginning. They're also us in the future, but also now in the present moment, due to some sort of multidimensional thing that I wasn't totally following. But I was assured that as I was looking up at them, they would be sending me love codes. I have to admit, this was my favorite part of the conversation. We didn't really talk specifics of the surgery because Mother God doesn't need to know what's wrong with you. She figures that out and she can heal anything. When I asked if there was anything I needed to do over the next 5 days that the etheric surgery would be taking place, she gave me 5 things to do, which were all very reasonable and manageable. I was supposed to drink plenty of water because my body would be transitioning from density to crystalline. I was supposed to journal every day and say affirmations in the mirror, as well as praying over my food to thank Mother God. And there was a special breathing technique that she described to me over the phone how to do. So pretty easy. Then we scheduled the post-surgery follow-up call for 5 days later. And she let me know that their 13D plasma generator pyramids would be going on sale soon. Overall, it was a pleasant conversation, although I found it hard to get a word in edgewise. Almost the entire 35 minutes was me just listening to her talk about 5D full disclosure and Mother God. To me, she seemed earnest and sincere in what she was saying, and she signed off the call by telling me she loves me. So the 5 days passed, and again, I waited for a call from 5D full disclosure that didn't come when expected. But about 30 minutes after the scheduled appointment time, I got a text message from someone else this time, asking to push the appointment back an hour, which I agreed to, and I did get a call about an hour later. This time I talked to the person for an hour. Again, we covered a vast amount of information about 5D full disclosure, and again, I was mostly just listening. In fact, here's me taking a listen. Just as a few examples, we talked about balance harmonics, which seem to have something to do with the masculine and feminine energies. And according to 5D full disclosure, the ideal or proper balance is 48% masculine and 51% feminine. So I guess helping balance that out is one of the things that Mother God does with the etheric surgery. But apparently, I am already on a pretty good path with my soul growth. The person I talked to was very flattering about my energies, so. We also discussed how life is a blend of The Matrix, Interstellar, and The Truman Show. In fact, according to this group, there are lots of movies that offer clues into the true nature of our reality, which we all have amnesia about. For example, it turns out that Wakanda is actually in the 5th dimension, which makes a lot of sense. We talked about the war between the Lemurians and the Atlanteans and about MK Ultra. It was suggested to me that I might be changing my living arrangement soon, possibly moving or even buying an RV and living in that. I really wasn't considering doing that, but you never know. Hashtag van life. Now, while we covered a lot of ground on this call, only a small amount of it was actually devoted to conveying the supposed results of my etheric surgery. If you've listened to my last episode, then you know I was a little worried they might decide that the procedure I needed was a lobotomy. So I was relieved to find that that was not in fact the case. But things did take a slightly alarming turn when I was informed that in fact my brain is full of holes. Yeah, so I was worried about them putting a hole in my brain when I should have been worrying about all the holes already in it. According to 5D full disclosure, we all have a lot of brain damage due to exposure to toxins from things like Wi-Fi, chemtrails, video games, hard drugs, vaccines, and a bunch of other stuff. In fact, there's a huge list of these things that supposedly cause holes in our brains in their Ascension Guide, which I mentioned on my last episode. Well, based on that list, my brain must have been pretty much nothing but holes. That may not come as a surprise to people who know me, but the upshot of all this is that my brain was full of holes, and now I'm better. Can you tell? So I think I'm okay now, but if you see me on any 5D full disclosure live streams, send help. Now, I went into this process with the suspicion that these calls serve a recruiting purpose, but I haven't had any follow-up communications like calls, texts, or even emails. The calls were also personal. They definitely weren't working off of a script, and they seemed willing to talk for as long as I wanted or could psychologically handle. So there you have it. That's the update and my personal experience and impressions. If somehow you're just tuning into Failed Utopia for the first time and you're wondering what in the hell I could be talking about, take a look at the 2 videos that are linked at the end of this video or in the show notes, depending on where you're watching or listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please do me a huge favor and hit subscribe and the bell so that you never miss any of my videos. You can also listen to Failed Utopia wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and I'll see you next time.